very warm welcome to you. Thank you for joining us on the news at 7 on NTA International. We're coming to you live from Abuja, and I'm Ruth Aguele. Let's take the headlines. National Security Council resolves to end the menace of terrorism, insurgency, and other criminal activities in Nigeria by 2020. Information Minister presents federal government scorecard for 2019. Clears the air over concerns about the country's domestic and external debt profile. And Chinese scientist bags 3 years in jail for editing genes in babies. We're starting with security matters. A crucial meeting of the National Security Council has ended in Abuja with a resolve by members to put an end to the menace of terrorism, insurgency, and other heinous criminal activities in the country by the year 2020. Already, the council, chaired by President Muhammadu Buhari, has announced plans to begin tactical withdrawal of the nation's military from internal security operations. Let's hear from State House correspondent Adamu Sambo.
With President Muhammadu Buhari presiding, the National Security Council meeting, which lasted about 4 hours, was held behind closed doors. In attendance were the Minister of Defense, the National Security Advisor, Service Chiefs, and the Inspector General of Police, Chief of Defense Intelligence, Director General of the Department of State Services, and the Secretary to the Government of the Federation. Participants critically appraised Nigeria's security profile in the year 2019, with particular emphasis on the ongoing operations within the country and across the sub-region.
It was generally agreed and noted that the security agencies have done their very best in ensuring that the deliverables are made clear. Just 2 weeks back, we have had over 27 attacks by Boko Haram and ISWAP in the northeast alone. And our gallant troops out there were able to repel these attacks and even take out some of their commanders. It is our wish to have the insurgency and terrorism issues resolved once and for all to enable us focus on matters of development.
At the meeting, President Muhammadu Buhari appreciated the military and other security services for the improved security situation across Nigeria, saying, however, that a lot still needs to be done towards guaranteeing sustainable peace and development.
Mr. President has directed that the Council and the members of armed forces ensure a peaceful society in 2020, and to that effect, we are more than determined to continue from where we stopped in 2019 and to ensure that we sustain our various operations to ensure a secure Nigeria for all of us.
Meanwhile, the National Security Council has resolved to ensure tactical withdrawal and replacement of the military with the Nigeria police personnel from internal security operations across the country.
For those areas that we believe the military has been able to achieve the desired objectives, that in the first quarter of next year, the civil authority will be preparing to take back those responsibilities as the military draws back on its forces in those areas to enable it focus its attention on other emerging threats and areas of concern. The nation is procuring equipment for the military. It therefore means that rather than have boots on ground, we're looking at technology-backed surveillance that will enable the military to react more efficiently and effectively. And with that, it is also believed that Nigerian police will take the lead in containing the security in such areas that must have been assessed to be in their right place to sustain.
The National Security Council meeting was the last for the year 2019. From the State House, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
In other news, the federal government has cleared the air over certain concerns about the country's domestic and external debt profile. Information and Culture Minister Lai Mohammed at a news briefing in Lagos said there is no cause for alarm.
Massive infrastructural decay. No responsible government will sit by and do nothing. This administration's borrowing, therefore, is aimed at revamping our infrastructural deficit, including roads, bridges, railways, waterways, and power, to help unleash the potential of the nation's economy. The loans for the educational sector will contribute to the development of our human capital, while the loans for the agricultural sector will help the move to diversify the economy.
We'll bring you the full details of the federal government 2019 scorecard in our subsequent bulletin. And in continuation of our sectoral reviews of the year 2019, let's join Mia Ogidi on how the Environment Ministry fared.
Different environmental challenges beclouding Nigeria from different fronts, and Muhammad Mahmoud Abubakar and Sharon Ekiazo are the stabilizers being mandated to steer the ship of the Federal Ministry of Environment.
The whole country will want to do an environmental assessment of where are things happening. It's not just impact of oil, but we have places where you have severe erosion, deforestation, where you have desertification.
This clearly shows that the minister is aware of the challenges ahead. But first spotted in Ogoniland and later in Madrid, Spain, all aimed at stepping up to what science is telling the world about climate change and how Nigeria can meet up our nationally determined contributions to mitigate climate change. For instance, on the cleaning up of Ogoniland, remarkable achievements recorded in 2019 as more than 6 major lots remediated.
Whatsoever UNEP has laid down as guidelines and standards, that we are going to adhere strictly to those standards.
It is now, I'm seeing for myself, I've perceived also for myself that work is ongoing.
As the Nigerian landmass becoming more vulnerable to climate-induced disasters due to forest loss, President Muhammadu Buhari at the 74th United Nations General Assembly Conference on Climate Change promised the planting of 25 million trees every year. And the realization of this task took the ministers for a membership drive, as it were, on gender basis.
This planting of trees, we intend to bring everybody on board.
Environment is life. Life is environment.
We are going to do our best to ensure that we support the Ministry of Environment.
2020 is already a busy year for the Ministry of Environment.
25 million trees within the year 2020.
Urban waste management was also given a consideration in the Federal Ministry of Environment engagements. A waste recycling plant was inaugurated in Kefi, Nasarawa State. These major events are expected to still form central part of the Federal Ministry of Environment's agenda for the year 2020. Mia Ogidi, NTA News.
Still on the environment with focus on disaster management, Lagos, with an estimated population of about 21 million people, recorded about 1,391 major disasters in the year 2019, with road accidents on top of the casualty list. In this special report, Michael Lale takes a look at disaster and its management in 2019.
Between January to December 2019, about 1,061 incidents of fire outbreak were recorded, 15 building collapse, while 315 cases of road crashes were recorded.
The states experience more emergency and more disaster in 2019 when you compare to 2018.
Whether natural or man-made, disaster is a global phenomenon, and experts believe that swift response is key when such occurs.
Quick response is key to ensuring that we save lives and properties.
In the year under review, Right of way to emergency scenes was identified as impediments to rescue operations. How then can these be addressed?
Changing the people orientation is the key.
We are also going to introduce technology. Our officers are out there monitoring, and we hope to be able to use drones to actually capture a few of these structures.
Some respondents did not hide their feelings as they commend the quick response to distress calls, although some share a different view.
Most times our responses to various occurrences, have been very, very slow.
For me, the response have been quite okay.
School that fell on the island, you can see the response was quite swift and it was immediate.
It is expected that with adequate training of personnel and public enlightenment campaign on necessary steps to take during disasters, the rate of casualties will reduce in the year 2020. In Lagos, Michael Olale, NTA News.
Let's turn to legislative affairs. Chairman Senate Committee on Media and Publicity, Senator Godia Akwashiki, says the National Assembly building is in a very bad shape and gradually collapsing. The Senate spokesman, while responding to plans to spend 37 billion naira on the renovation of the complex, explained that it is an urgent need of repairs after 20 years of use without any maintenance. He explained further that the National Assembly only approved the renovation request from the FCDA, which owns the complex and will also carry out the renovation.
The Assembly complex belongs to FCDA. The main responsibility of the FCDA, of the leadership of the Senate or House of Representatives, is to inform Mr. President that this structure is in the state of collapse. So, Mr. President, it is left from the President of the Executive now to tell the owners of the National Assembly complex to send their technical officers, the architecture, the building, the engineer, to find out which area and what attention they need in the National Assembly. How they count about the 37 billion is not the issue of the National Assembly, it's purely the issue of the FCDA. And let me tell the general public, it is the FCDA that are going to award the contract. And 10 kobo of this 37 billion is not coming to the National Assembly account. It's going straight to the FCDA.
Senator Godia Akwashiki there speaking on the dilapidated state of National Assembly building. And in other news, in the spirit of the season, the Minister of Women Affairs went around Abuja City to show love to internally displaced persons and orphans. The visit is also to give them a projection into areas of priority come 2020. Momso Demian Dati reports.
It's a Sunday, the last in the year 2019, and even this decade, regardless of the complacency and love that characterized government functions during this period, the Ministry of Women Affairs is not deterred in their resolve to touch the lives of destitutes. So in their numbers, officials of the ministry set out for the IDP camp. The first point of call was the Malaysian Gardens community, Apo. The visit provided a platform for a heart-to-heart talk with the minister. Many issues were raised. Among them, no school, no healthcare facilities. These, in addition to skills empowerment, are now to be included on the minister's exclusive actionable list. Next on the roll call is IDP camp in Wasa, a satellite community with its own peculiar challenges. Here, however, the minister took out time to visit individual homes to have a first-hand experience of the quality of lives. It's not so pleasant, she says. Area of priority that must be addressed too.
Our problem is scholarship. If you can solve all our problem now, we will be happy.
Then the train changes direction to an orphanage. And it's Mother Teresa's Children's Home in Gwarimpa, a joyous and pleasant experience for the family.
Almost 4 years now since we lost our mother, and we thank God, we're still standing. It's added a lot. It showed us that, our work doesn't go unrecognized.
I feel happy and excited.
But here comes the final stop, Heritage Orphanage, where the children also enjoyed a good time, receiving lots of hugs, care and gifts to go with.
It shows we still have people that know we are into existence and they care about us.
For the IDPs,
You saw how moved I was. It was really emotional, and the deplorable condition of where they were living, and most of them, they don't have water, they don't have light. The health of most of the children was not good enough. It's not just for this Christmas season alone. We will try to check on them and to know what's happening with the children, because the child belongs to all.
Experience gathered from the visit, the minister says, will guide them on areas to focus on in 2020. In Abuja, Momso Damien Lati, NTA News.
Thank you, Momso. Let's take a break now. We're back shortly, so stay tuned.
Hear the call of change. Stand up, Nigeria. Change is here and it's going to stay. Change begins with you. Oh yeah, make we go. So let the change begin from within. Look at you, Ogerula. Change begins with you and me. Oh, change begins with me. Oh, change begins with me. Oh, change begins with me.
This message is brought to you by the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture.
NTA International News. Africa as it is.
Thanks for staying with us. Nigerians have been urged to take a cue from the life of President Muhammadu Buhari, irrespective of their religious, political and ethnic affiliation. This was played up during the presentation of a book titled Integrity versus Power Play, Understanding the Buhari Phenomenon, authored by Philip Agbesi. The Integrity versus Power Play is a literary document that garnered the experience and attributes of President Muhammadu Buhari to highlight fresh perspectives into the issues surrounding the existence of credible leadership. The 268-page book goes beyond biography to address sensitive historical and current political discourse to connect major and minor events in the life of the president with how Nigeria has been transformed since the advent of the current administration. The author highlights the resounding victory of President Muhammadu Buhari in the 2019 general elections and why he has remained an exceptional leader in the military and political arena in Nigeria.
Of a greater nation for our country. I thank you most sincerely. And I said the greatest gift for mankind is understanding and knowing the reality of the moment. And I think today the phenomenon of President Muhammadu Buhari has brought about reality on us.
The 12-chapter book stands as one of the major selling points of the president's past and present activities, bringing out the Buhari phenomenon that stood him out among all. And to religious affairs, religious tolerance, piety and giving in the way of Allah have been identified as ways of guaranteeing an enduring society. These were the views of Islamic clerics at the inauguration of Oriwu Central Mosque in Ikorodu area of Lagos. Awal Yusuf Jibo has a report.
The act of Sadaqatul Jariyah in Islam means ongoing charity with endless rewards received by those who engage in the practice. Clerics at this gathering informed that the benefits of Sadaqatul Jariyah are not limited to this life, but also reaped in the hereafter. To be among benefactors of these bounties from Allah, Muslim faithful came together and contributed their quota to ensure the completion of Oriwu Central Mosque in Ikorodu area of Lagos.
For every one of us, we're so glad that this building has been commissioned in our lifetime, 30 years on, and we just also hope that as even the governor of Lagos State said here today, we should extend leadership, morality to our youth.
Other Islamic scholars expressed delight on the commissioning of the mosque while commending the governor of Lagos State, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, for his immense support. They urged Muslim faithful to continue to strive in the way of Allah.
If you see the magnitude, if you see the architectural piece, you know that Ikorodu will have masterpiece. And it shows that Ikorodu is so religious.
Nigerians were admonished to shun negativities of division and nurture the bonds of brotherhood as a way of ensuring sustainable development in the country. In Lagos, Awal Yusuf Jibo, NTA News.
A bit of felicitation here. President Muhammadu Buhari has congratulated the pioneer General Secretary of the Anglican Communion, Reverend Joseph Akinyele Omoyajowo, as he turns 85. In a statement by the Special Advisor to the President on Media and Publicity, Femi Adesina, the President salutes the commitment, hard work and doggedness of Omoyajowo through many milestones in life, including being a trained teacher, a graduate of religious studies at the University of Ibadan, a lecturer in the same institution, and ultimately a professor at the then University of Ife, which is now Obafemi Awolowo University. The President wishes the retired cleric and university don good health, sound mind, and continued strength to be of further service to God and humanity. And next is business news with Olainka Ojo.
The Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, has ruled out the possibility of devaluing the Naira next year, expressing optimism that crude oil price will remain stable in the new year. Director of Corporate Communications, CBN, Isaac Okwarafor, while noting that Nigeria's external reserves dropped to $38.776 billion as at last Thursday, allayed fears of devaluation, adding that it is rather unfortunate that people are talking about devaluation. At this time, the central bank governor only last month said the Apex Bank would continue to sustain the stability in the forex market. Meanwhile, the Association of Bureau de Change Operators of Nigeria has defended the Central Bank of Nigeria's 305 to $1 exchange rate policy. The decision, APCON President Aminu Gwadabe said, has helped in stabilizing the Naira, adding that the 305 to $1 exchange rate is for settling government obligations and not a transactional rate as been speculated. Let's now see how the commodities market fared this Monday. Olainka Ojo for Business News.
And for news on the global scene, here is Uche Ugochukwu.